Hi everybody, so today I'm just going to do a simple Hello World Nginx web server application on top of Oracle Kubernetes. It's something that I've been meaning to do for a while, but I just never got around to doing it. And it will be a very basic application. We're going to define a couple of different pods on top of 3 worker nodes or minions on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And when you actually provision this service on top of OCI, this is the default application. It's basically like a playing around application that you can deploy just to get started. So I'm going to be running this off an Ubuntu system. Just to make it a bit easier. I find Windows can be quite tricky building on at times. So I'll just have up on the screen here if you want to find out more information around Oracle Kubernetes. This is a technical white paper of actually what we're going to be building. So you have your etcd database, key value database, and we're going to have a Kubernetes master and a couple of different services. So from my videos you've probably seen this Oracle Cloud Console before. I'm going to be operating in the London region. So this is, and just make sure when you sign up for a trial or whatever, if you do have an environment already, to just make sure you are working in the correct compartment. And I do just want to point out at the start, there is a couple of different ways that you can deploy this on OCI. I'm going to use the quick create. So if you're just testing it out, the quick create is probably the best way to get started. You'll have a cluster up and running in minutes, or else you can do the custom create. But just be advised that you will have to look after all the networking and the security lists and creating your proxies and all the different services and route tables. So in the quick create, I'm just going to paste in my public key here at the moment. What's going to be created is one VCN, and we have 2 subnets for our load balancer, and we have 3 different subnets for our worker nodes. And obviously you can choose which virtual machine shape that you want. You're probably better off going with a small shape at the start. And just if you can see down at the bottom here, I'll point down in a second, we are going to look at the Kubernetes dashboard, and we'll also deploy Tiller as well. So it's basically like the package manager for Kubernetes. So just looking at the diagram here again, we're going to have 3 workers across 3 different availability domains. And I'm just putting this white paper up here if you want to get more information. But we are going to, if you can see here now, we're after deploying the whole networking, so the networking has been created for us, and the cluster is being provisioned in the background. So it typically takes a couple of minutes for the 3 virtual machines to launch. And also the 3 virtual machines across the 3 availability domains are already able to communicate with each other. Because the OCI console has provisioned the appropriate security list first. So I'm just going to go browse through the virtual network that has been created while I wait for my virtual machines and workers to spin up. And as always, the main objective for this video is just to give a brief introduction of how to set up a basic Hello World application on top of OCI, and at the end of the video that I hope that you will be able to provision the service yourself, just more so to be playing around. So my 2 route tables have been deployed, and I also have an internet gateway for connectivity. And the security list is really important. I have found if we are to create this ourselves, the security list, it can be quite an issue at times. So more going into what's going to be created, we are going to have a very simple deployment YAML file that we will feed to the Kubernetes master through the API server, and we're going to have to install the kubectl, so the command line interface for Kubernetes. So how I'm doing that now is I'm just going to run Ubuntu on VirtualBox, an Ubuntu system. So I have the kubectl already downloaded. Just showing up on the screen here the Docker registry for OCI. So if you want to push containers from your own private registry, that is also possible here on OCI. So just waiting for that to spin up there now. It should be up in a couple of seconds. Okay, here it is. So it's created now. So we're just looking at the work request. Oh, sorry, it's still creating. I thought it was created. So another very important thing is when you want to see the Kubernetes dashboard, that's where we all want to get to, is we are going to proxy from our local machine, because some of the security lists, we don't allow access from anyone to the API server. We don't want that. So the Kubernetes command line interface, I'm just showing where you can download it. I found the easiest way to do it is by installing the binary, and just make sure that you bring it into your bin folder so you can make it executable. But I have found that that is the easiest way to do it. But the first thing that you have to do, sorry, I'm just in my SSH folder where I uploaded my public key for the virtual machines. Just make sure that you have the kubectl command line installed. So I'm just running a kubectl version just to make sure it is, and you can get more information around that there. And just make sure that it's in your executable folder. So you can see some sample commands here. Some of the basic commands that I'll use is create and expose. But what we want to do here, I'm just going to fast forward a small bit, is we want to access the kube config. So Oracle has made it really easy to access your Kubernetes configuration file. So if you follow all the instructions like I'm doing on the screen, just make sure that to deploy the quick start sample application, number one step is you just have to make that hidden directory, the .cube, make that in your most relative path. So second step then is we are actually passing the parameters of our cluster into our Kubernetes configuration file, and that new file will be written to that directory, and just export it then to make it executable to the kubectl command line interface. So our dashboard will be enabled, but on our local host on port 8001. But first thing we have to do is we have to run kubectl proxy. So I'll do that in a couple of seconds. I have ran this on a couple of virtual machines in the cloud, and it can be an issue if your virtual machine is resolving to a certain IP. So I just found it's easiest to run it off your local machine, just for testing purposes. So it's starting to serve there. I'm just going to click on that link again. So it should pop up here very quickly. It can take a while at times when you're first signing in. So you have two ways to sign in. You can either use the kubeconfig file that you created through the OCI console, steps, or else you can just cache that config file, and there's a security token already built into the file. I have done that once or twice, but I think it's just easier to upload the configuration file. So I'll just do that there now. Please bear with me. So I'll just upload that configuration file, and when you do that, you should get in straight away, and then you will be greeted by the famous Kubernetes dashboard. So it took me a while to get all these steps, but I hope that just by seeing someone else do it, you will be able to do it too. So this is the default Kubernetes dashboard. You can see all your nodes, namespaces to split up different clusters. And here are my worker nodes. You can see my 3 worker nodes that were provisioned by OCI. And I'm just going to check on the private IPs of those worker nodes to make sure that they're correct. Okay, so my 3 instances should be up and running in here as represented by the Kubernetes dashboard. Just waiting for it to refresh there. Okay, so we can see there's 3 instances running. I just want to make sure the private IP address is the same. Yeah, so that is all set up there now. And you may ask, why is there no public IP address? Because we have created through the OCI console, the quick provision is 3 private subnets, and there is internal load balancers. But in the end, we are going to provision a deployment to expose the service. So if you can see the sample application here, it's a YAML file, and that YAML file is actually from the Kubernetes website, online website. So if you can see, I'm just executing the kubectl command line up here, and I'm just going to create that deployment. So this is basically when you pass a configuration file to the master's API server. So this should update pretty quickly. Sorry, I'm just going to drag that out of the screen there to make it easier for you guys to read. So if I come up into, I'll check workloads first, or else I'll check the overview section. Please bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so it should be running Okay, so I have a couple of different pods created here. Replica sets then is just to ensure that the correct number of pods are running. So you can see you get the dashboard here, and the deployment then is just for more applications that are being exposed to the web. So that's something that we will go through in further detail, but this is all about just getting up and running. You can see here that if you want to get internal access to the network, you can set up a Bastion host and add, as you can see in one of my previous videos when we were talking about a database and a private subnet, you can mess around with the security lists to let traffic in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a service, to just add another feature to my cluster. I want to expose that to the outside world. But first I'm just going to run a simple Nginx web server in a couple of different pods. So first thing we're going to do, I just want to make sure I know what's running. So this should also be the same as what's running in my Kubernetes dashboard. So you can see two of my two pods are working correctly. And then with services, it's just a network access point. So you can see it's a private IP address that I have at the moment. So there's no public IP. So how am I going to expose, or how are we going to know that it's even working? So we want to see something through our web browser. So we'll just create something here to expose that. So I'm just going to hit kubectl expose deployment, and what we're going to do is just put a load balancer. So this is all integrated with the OCI network. So I'm going to expose a load balancer, and it's going to be listing on port 80, and that is going to route traffic to our Nginx pods, which are being deployed in our cluster. So that should come up pretty quickly. So that has been exposed. So I'll just go back to my console in a second. So I just want to check the deployments. I think it is deployments. No, so it should be services. Okay, so my service should come back there pretty quickly. Just waiting for it to come back. You can see maybe a bit slow. No, so it's up. Okay, so finally, so my load balancer has been provisioned, but it's still awaiting a public IP. So one option that you could do if you wanted this to remain persistent is you could just pass a reserved public IP to the load balancer. But for this demo, and I'm following the exact setup steps as are documented in the Oracle Getting Started documentation, just to show you how you can test this out. Okay, so let's just wait for that to come up. So I can see my deployments, my pods, and I can see that my two pods are running according to my replica set. So my load balancer has been provisioned, and that's going to provide an access point to basically to test out if these pods are configured correctly. So let me just copy that public IP address and type it in to my console. Okay, great. So I'm getting the Nginx web server screen, so that's good. So what I'm going to do now is, probably in my next couple of videos, I'm going to start tearing down and start deleting web servers to see how the Oracle Cloud reacts and see how Kubernetes recovers. So if I just scroll down to services, so I saw it there that we could see that load balancer was exposing the services. Labels, you can put in some labels if you want. Just for the purposes of this demo, I didn't think it was essentially too necessary. One thing also worth stating is we haven't talked too much around the kubelet agent running on each of our worker nodes and the kube proxy as well. So essentially, what is your engine? That's something that we will discuss in later videos. But even our etcd database, that's something that we will also look at. But it's great that the kubelet is already set up and we can just interact with the cluster. So I'm just going to start deleting a couple of deployments here. Sorry that I think kubelet service delete Nginx deployment. Sorry, I had an S in there. So that should delete, and that should be reflected in my Kubernetes dashboard. One also important thing to note is You may ask why I have two terminals open. If I exited the second terminal, my queue proxy would essentially stop. So I wanted my proxy to keep displaying the dashboard. So you can see my Nginx and my load balancer is gone. So my load balancer has been deleted. So this just shows the great value of Kubernetes. You can basically spin up applications as you wish and just make sure that they're running. So the last thing that I'll do is I'll just delete my Nginx deployment, and I just want to basically clean up my resources. In the next tutorial that we may look at, the second tutorial on the Kubernetes website, where we deploy a MySQL database and WordPress on top. It's something that, just to get started, is really good. So you can see now my workload statuses have turned orange. But once again, my API server and my master node will remain up. So this is basically just a starting tutorial, just to show you how to get started. And you can see now my services have basically stopped. Just going back to the Kubernetes console. So this is where you can get more information, and all I can say is thank you very much.